What are you doing, Mark?
Oh, hi, Sue. Well, you know what I'm doing. I'm just enjoying the seating here at the Newmar Service Center. You can see in the background, that's where we are. It's August 2nd. It's the morning after we came here. It's Sunday. We're trying to relax. We're going to actually be taking our rig into the service area early in the morning. We have to be at 5:45. We have to be in the side of the building here to report to be checked in. They're going to take our temperatures, both of ours, ask us some questions about COVID, and if we pass that skill test, then they'll take our rig and start working on it. Now, Monday night and Tuesday night, we're going to stay over in a hotel. Theoretically, on Wednesday, we'll get our coach back and it's going to be done. If they get enough things done and they want to keep it another day, we're certainly open for them to do that. What I want to show you here is, yesterday we talked a little bit about how full it was. We just counted the spots, and what did we say, honey? We think there's
50.
There's 50 spots for regular folks, which are all of the spots that are on the perimeter of this lot. But then these center ones, there's like 10 spots in the center here, and that's for the Newmar techs when they just breeze in here and they don't necessarily have a customer that's waiting, but yet they need to get rid of 45 feet of machinery. Now, if you look at our coach right here in the back, you'll notice that we not only have our antenna cranked up because we are too cheap to have satellite, even though we do have a dome satellite. We don't even know how to run it. We've never turned it on, and in fact we have it stored in Wisconsin at Sue's sister's house. So that's what that little dome is. We never use it. So we got the crank up antenna, you know, the Fred Flintstones people that we are. We spend all of our time looking at and making YouTube videos, which, by the way, we recommend you do, especially watch ours.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I want you to fixate on the fact that you see that we have air horns in ours, and this guy next to us has air horns, and then like he doesn't have air horns and he doesn't, and you're thinking, hey, the Chan man, he's got air horns. I have to be honest with you. The air horns now on the new coaches are inside. They're pointing down, blowing right at the pavement, so you don't have to look at them and worry about them and catch twigs and branches and things on them. So anytime you see a motorhome from Newmar that's got the air horns on the outside, you know it's an old one. So, sorry folks.
Look at all the satellite dishes. Marco, you cheap thing, you.
I know. So one of the beautiful things about being retired when you're full-time RV is you can take in all sorts of the simple things in life. And this simple pleasure today was Sunday, being ready for our appointment with no rushing around to the Newmar factory here. So what do you do when you want to pass the time of day? Of course, you take selfies. But then when you're walking around, it's always great when people recognize you based on your tiny little channel. It so makes the effort worth it that Sue and I work at doing. And then we even run into friends that we've run into many, many times. That's always great. Here you can see we really got lucky. When we were at Camp Newmar, somebody actually had a drone, threw it up, and took a picture of everyone's rig, and there's ours. The service center is starting to come to life. It's almost time to start lining up. In fact, I see somebody over there lined up already, waiting to check their rig in. So this is the inside of the Newmar Factory Service Center. And I want you to just think about what it would be like if you're an RV tech and you come to work every day here. Perfect lighting, perfect temperature control. You could eat off the floor. All of the parts you could possibly need are literally in this building or right down the road. And I don't know if it'll show here to the extreme left, but in the distance you can see that there's a scaffolding and a bunch of cranes up there. In case you got to put an air conditioner on, you don't actually have to carry it up a ladder. One thing that is startling when you're in any of the Newmar facilities or even the parking lots is how perfectly clean and well kept everything is. Here's the old Chan man checking in at his first COVID station. You have to tell them who you are so they make sure that you should be there and that you have an appointment and what your rig is. And the wife has to check in too. Anybody that's traveling in the rig has to show up, and you walk through this door, and if you didn't fill out your paperwork, you can do that. You can see on the concrete there they had some X's where you stand, and here they made me take my hat off, not to look at my hair, but so that they could get a temperature check. What I'm pointing out there is my DOD. It's called the dot of the day, and every day when you check your rig in, you have to pass the questionnaire they ask you about how you're feeling and the temperature check. And what's going to happen now is I'm going to wait, and I didn't have to wait long. My tech is going to be out there and he's going to meet me. So sure enough, Lloyd gets out there actually before I even got to the rig, and he's got my paperwork and he pretty much knows what all my concerns are. And we kind of walked around the rig, and I had my papers and my flashlight, and I was able to talk about all of the different things and kind of explain the peculiarities of how they operated and what my hopes were for when things were fixed and how they were fixed. And we actually added a few things, and he said if he can fit them in, he would do it, so that was awesome. We've had our rig fixed many times by places, and they just jump in the thing and take off, and you hope everything's disconnected. Not Lloyd. Lloyd walked around and he made sure all the bay doors were closed and tight, so that was pretty impressive. I want you guys to see here, it's kind of a little treat. You can see the condensation on the side of the rig, and that's kind of a tribute to how well the Newmar is insulated. The reason there's those slats there, they have chosen not to use wooden supports on the inside. I mean, you can imagine driving down the Pennsylvania freeway rattling around with wood 2x4s holding your rig together. This is actually an all aluminum welded frame, so that's why you have the insulation rectangles where the insulation is, and where the metal is, it's not as well insulated, of course. So here's the list of items that I wanted them to work on, and there was a number of them that were going to be accomplished for sure based on my 3-day appointment that actually ended up being a 4-day appointment. That was one of the reasons why Sue and I chose to stay in a hotel down the road, because you'll notice that this parade of rigs going in the morning and checking in and getting the COVID temperature check, that was all part of the procedure you had to do, and we wanted to eliminate that and have our coach in ready to go in the morning. So they kept it overnight inside, and by us staying in the hotel, we really picked up a lot of time on every day. So this is always a strange feeling when you see your coach rolling by and you're not in it, and in fact Sue isn't in it, and it's like, hey, who the heck's in that thing? But we knew it was in good hands with Lloyd. I mean, imagine how comfortable this would be in here pre-COVID. This would be one big giant fun time in here.
I'm sorry, they probably didn't see you.
Look at how nice this is. We're going to go to the observation area up here shortly. But this is how a repair facility should be. When you're bringing in something that costs between $400,000 and $1 million to get fixed, you shouldn't be sitting in a cart table chair with 6-day-old coffee. So here's a kitchen area. Oh, yes. Okay.
Another nice feature here is they actually have several pet lounges. This is one of the smaller ones. Then we've got this one. We won't go in, but pretty nice if you have a pet.
Look at this. Wow. Right in here.
Wow, even
Look at this.
Wow.
This is what National Indoor RV needs to get up to speed. This is really valuable.
Yeah.
This says that the company you're dealing with gets it. We have a washer and dryer, but you know, some people don't, and it's very important, you know, unless you want to be a stinky boy.
Don't do that, Mark.
Yeah. Come on in.
Oh, thank you.
So the laptop area here, which has got a nice plug and USB, you'll notice every other chair is missing. Every other table has got an X on it, so they've got that all socially distanced out as well. And that's, I'm sure, why it's so empty in here.
Read the sign.
Hello.
Howdy.
I believe I just talked to you on the phone.
Yes, honey. It's lucky room 113.
Ooh.
Let's renew our marriage vows.
Marco. This is a family.
Plus, I'm going to leave the mask on. I only take you to the nice places. It's actually got a flat screen rather than a tube TV. Come on in.
Well, thanks.
Check it out.
Oh my God, we gotta sleep in the same bed, huh?
You're kidding. Sue's putting away the breakfast, lunch food that we brought, so we don't have to, some of it, so we don't have to eat at a restaurant necessarily. And so we got something for breakfast. We have to go get another load. But it's kind of funny that I was looking forward to the pool maybe later today, but I think the pool isn't open because they're like working on it and it's empty. So that's kind of a dead giveaway.
Wow, are they working on it?
Yeah. So just a pro tip for people going to the Newmar facility. If you're going to stay in this countryside hotel, call them directly and get the Newmar rate, which at the time of this recording, and this is August 3rd, 2020, the rate is only about $75 a night, whereas I paid slightly over $100 through Expedia. Sue has a knack for capturing scenes like this that pretty much set the tone on how it felt to be in Nappanee, Indiana, this quaint little town. And believe it or not, this is right across the street from the Motorhome factory. Sue and I just dropped off our rig this morning at the Newmar Service Center to be done, and at 5:45 we had to be standing in line outside, queued up. So we got to
tell them it's a.m.
Yeah, we got this. We actually got up at 4:30 this morning. So I'm embarrassed to report that after we dropped it off and after we went to the customer service area and I bought a bunch of parts so I can carry them along and blah 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 blah, we intentionally called our hotel early to see if they had a room that's ready, meaning it wasn't stayed in the night prior. That was our little COVID trick, and they didn't have a person in the room that we were in the night before, so we were able to get in it at 9 o'clock. We stopped and had coffee and a little bit of something in the room that they had that was social distance, and I'm embarrassed to say that at 9:30 in the morning we went back to bed, and literally it's what about p.m. right now, honey, about 5 o'clock. We're finally roaming around, and we're going to walk around the entire factory area proper of the Newmar Corporation, and this is the product development center. This is actually where all the engineering happens. And one odd thing about this factory, and a lot of them around here, you look how clean everything is. I mean, look at, there isn't any junk or any cars or anything left behind. This company here is unrelated here, this ATC, and they're the same way. Everything's perfectly neat and all put away. That's the way it is here in Nappanee. Embrace the pace.
That's
Come
right.
on.
Hey, by the way,
Yeah.
it's 8 p.m.
It's 8 p.m.?
It's 8 p.m.
Well, come on. We're going to run out of daylight. We got to get some film lit. Let's go. Someday these Freightliner frames will be glorious looking motorhomes. But right now, they're all imprisoned here with no RV frame on them, and they're just behind barbed wire, waiting to break out of prison and to get into their life of being a motorhome.
What are you doing, Mark? Are you
Well,
spying on me?
I was just checking out to see if there's a plant tour here, and we know now that the plant tours have been suspended, but 2 years ago Sue and I came here, got the orientation in that building I showed, and then right across the street, believe it or not, that relatively small building, and you know, obviously I don't have a good side shot of it here. If I look this way, I can see how long it is. That's where the rigs are made, and all of these rigs that are out here are all done, and it's not like they store them. They're waiting for people to take factory pickup, and then they'll pick up one of these rigs and they'll probably deliver it over to where we were yesterday. Remember, we talked about those spots that are reserved for the Newmar only coaches that are in the middle. They're the drive-through spots. Somebody will drive one of these over and they'll be inspected by the people that bought it. Anything they don't like that needs to be fixed, they can take care of. And then there's what's called pre-factory delivery, where somebody may not even have ever had an RV before, so they'll pull them in the spot, they'll hook everything up, and they'll say, hey, you know, take your showers and everything, watch your gauges, and we'll come back and we'll show you how to do everything, you know. So that's their campground to teach their customers. Now, factory pickup is super expensive. It's like, you know, I want to just throw it out there. It's like $4,000 or $5,000. But the conventional wisdom is that people that don't do it, they wish they had, and the people that have done it are glad they did. So that's, I'm going to say, and I'm going to stick with the story. Come on, let's go to the end of the road here, honey, and we'll show you where the Newmar camp used to be and where the greeting center was. 2 years ago, Sue and I were here, and we went into this building right here, the service center, where you would check in when you were getting your rig fixed. And you can see that they had power pedestals here and sewer hookups for people. You could, of course, probably go across the street here as an overflow, and there was an overflow area that lined the other area of the factory. But then I believe you eventually might have went in these bays, and you can see there's not all that many of them compared to what they have right now. And this was the customer lounge here, where you would sit around waiting for your rig to get ready. They've come a long way. Congratulations on a great job, Newmar.
It's so longing.
You know, I mean, I spent a lot of my life working at factories, and this place looks like they went out of business 10 years ago. And you know darn well, tomorrow morning, all the doors are going to open. The place is going to be humming like a sewing machine. They're going to be making $500,000 machines. And then at 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, shut all the doors, everything's perfectly clean, and they go home again. It's really mind-blowing. All right, this is the first time it going out since it's been fixed out. You can see that the clamp up there is clamped as good as it's ever going to be. It was very quiet bringing it in. Now we're going to take it out. Usually as it goes down the ramp of the mechanism is when it gets noisy. You'll notice it's descending down the ramp. That is essentially Newmar perfection. Come on, Sue, it's our last day at Newmar. It's Thursday. I don't know what day, August 4th or 5th. Let's, Myles is right in back of us, probably can't show it. We're gonna walk in this doorway here.
What time is it? Good Lord.
It's, I don't know, about 10 to 6. We're gonna get our temperature taken, and if we pass the test and we're not destined to get sick, then they're going to send the tech out and get our rig. Trying to do everything responsible. The place is doing a great job. He's going to pick the rig up, take it in. He's actually going to put some shims in the ramp area where some of the rollers are to lift it up a little bit more, and more importantly, when it's in the out position, it's going to tip it somewhat so that I have a little bit more clearance with some fascia, some body parts, and then he's going to cut some trim body parts that aren't painted, that are just a nuisance in the way. So I'm suspecting that by, I mean, these guys are amazingly fast. I would bet by 9:30 the thing is sitting out here. So.
Oh my God! Usually you're not even out of bed.
I know. Well, speaking of that, let's go sit in a Honda and go take a little nap. What do you think?
I'm in. I'm in. Let's do it.
There goes Myles for a little final tune-up on the slide. We're going to put a additional set of shims in. What are you doing, Sue?
Oh my God. Well, something I usually don't do. McDonald's breakfast.
Huh.
Just too early to get a good breakfast going before they came and got the rig. So I'm good.
All right.
Mark's got his coffee. We're
And
good
now,
to go.
And now we're going to go in the lounge over there and veg out. So one of the cool things is they've got an area up here that you can actually look out into where they're fixing things.
Oh wow, it's kind of nice. I didn't realize they have the comfortable chairs and lights back there. You can sit and relax and read. But this is what I think is the cool part, this corner, right by the window. So if you're lucky enough, you can have your rig right here and just watch them all day long. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Would you like to see your rig right here?
Yeah. Well, look at how wide they are for working. This place is, everything is done right. They even have sprinklers in here so they don't burn up $20 million worth of coaches.
Oh my God. Looks like Mark is leaving me. So now we've got our tech out here. We're looking at a few things that he fixed. Come on, what did Mark talk you into this time?
A motor latch. Gotta have a motor latch.
Mark hits another person.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's just one of them.
We're ready here.
You're all set?
Yeah.
All right. Your total is $61.52.
What are those, Mark?
We take Visa, MasterCard, or Discover.
These are anti-scratch roller guards for your. Oh, my guy's out there, honey.
Okay,
I'm gonna go out there. Why don't you pay for this?
give me your card.
You
Give me your money. Quitting time, and all the RVs are coming back to their home. That's the motor. Okay. All right, we're bringing it in. Much quieter. And the back is sealed really good, as it always has. Let's go check the front. Oh, much better. Still a little bit of a gap up there, but that's near perfection.
So here's how the bill shook out. You can see that the first item here for $1,200, that was actually quoted as $2,700. And as I corresponded back and forth with Newmar, they actually offered to pick up 50% of whatever it ultimately ended up costing to fix those support rollers, even though I had to remind them that I did not buy the rig new, and it in fact is 6 years out of warranty, and I'm the second owner. It didn't matter to them. They thought it was fair to help me. Unbelievable. The second item there, the cab lights. When I was up near the roof on the ladder, I could see that they had developed some cracks in them from the Florida sun, and I decided to be proactive and yank them all and have them replaced. The kitchen slide adjustment ended up just being the travel limits being readjusted so that the slide doesn't travel too far outward. The new crankcase filter, I was actually congratulated by the Cummins guy working on it. He says a lot of people ignore that filter, and it actually is quite important so that your engine breathes the vapors properly and does the right things with them. The oil change I actually had done 3 months earlier than I needed to be done, but I was kind of in the right place at the right time with the right company doing it, and I didn't want to take any chances. We're going to be in California in a couple of months. I don't know what I would get out there. I don't want to be driving around looking for something last minute, so I just had it done. And then the air cleaner, I'm proactive on that. I do that every year. I know that's an expensive extra thing to be doing, but I've been taught by the Freightliner classes that I went to that the last thing you want to do is suck a piece of old air cleaner into your turbocharger. Had the hydraulic jacks maintained. Hopefully they put a wrench on some of the connections to make sure they were okay. The AC units I had cleaned and amperage draw tests done. That actually didn't turn out too well because I'm back in Milwaukee right now, and one of the units that was tested actually just failed. I'm not blaming them. The air conditioners are basically all piles of junk that are on everybody's roof, so it is what it is. It's an OEM one. I'm going to replace it. I had them replace the black radiator shroud. It's kind of a decoration actually, but it was degraded by the sun and fallen off, and I thought, what the heck, it's got to look nice for the next guy. While I had them on the roof inspecting the sealants number 12, they discovered number 11, that the roof vents for the black and gray tanks were cracked. So I said, hey, have at it, guys. And then another important thing you want to always make sure you have checked or do it yourself is check the transfer switch cable connections are all tight, and that actually is a relatively small fasteners that you have to deal with, so you need a small torque wrench if you're going to do it right, but very important, because if those connections get loose, that's when they create heat, can start arcing and give you a problem. So the grand total with tax was $4,336. I have to be honest that when I got this bill, I started crying, and Sue felt sorry for me, and she says, Marco, she says, I'll take care of it for you. Stand aside. Pulled out her card, paid, and we were on our way.